Welcome back, 8th graders, to today's Explainer. We've got a really exciting journey ahead of us today. We're going straight into the heart of storytelling to uncover something pretty fascinating. Have you ever noticed how the struggles in our favorite books actually mirror our very own lives? Well, today, we're going to unlock the secrets of literary conflict together, and honestly, you're going to see how it totally transforms the way we read, write, and just understand the world around us. So, here's our quick roadmap for today. We're covering the core of conflict, why comparing matters, how to analyze, same conflict, different stories, real-life peace, and finally, true education includes morality. All right, section 1, the core of literary conflict, the big idea. Let's get into it.
Now, there's this profoundly true piece of biblical wisdom from Ecclesiastes that says, there is nothing new under the sun. Just think about that for a second. Literally, every movie you watch or every single book you read, they're all basically dealing with the exact same fundamental human struggles. We're talking jealousy, courage, fear, love, survival. You get the idea. The core conflicts repeat themselves over and over across all of literature. But, and here's a real secret, while those basic conflicts aren't necessarily new, the specific ways characters struggle and the unique choices they make, well, those are brilliantly unique to every single story.
Moving right along to section 2, why comparing conflicts matters, your secret weapon. So when you take two conflicts and place them side by side, something actually amazing happens. First off, it reveals these hidden patterns and stark differences about the characters and the themes. It's kind of like you suddenly start seeing the hidden matrix of the stories. Second, and this is a massive deal for your essays, it strengthens your analytical writing. You go from just, summarizing a plot to sounding like an absolute literary genius who can explain exactly how a story ticks. And finally, it deepens your overall appreciation for the whole shebang. You get to see the sheer brilliance in how two totally different authors can take the exact same situation and handle it in completely different ways.
Which brings us to section 3, how to analyze and compare. Let's dive in.
Okay, let's dive into the how-to. Here is your 3-step playbook. Step 1, identify the main conflict. Ask yourself, is it an internal conflict, like a character battling their own anxiety, or is it external, like facing down a huge storm or an enemy? Step 2, compare the development and the resolution. You want to look at whether the characters face similar challenges but make fundamentally different choices. And step 3, analyze those differences. Ask yourself what those little tweaks reveal about the story's big theme or ultimate message. All right, section 4. Same conflict, different stories, examples in action. Let's look at some real examples to see how this actually plays out. On one hand, imagine a massive war story. On the other hand, a local sports novel. Now, the core conflict in both is exactly the same, right? It's team versus team. But look at how completely different they feel. The war story has these massive life-or-death stakes and a super grave tone. The sports novel, though, it's got localized stakes like maybe winning a championship trophy and a really fun, competitive tone. It's the exact same conflict, but a totally different reading experience. And this brilliantly illustrates our next point. Picture two different mystery stories. In both, the main deal is solving a crime. Simple enough. But let's check out how they resolve. Mystery 1 gives us this neat little resolution. The bad guy is caught, justice is served, and everything is tied up with a nice little bow. Mystery 2, however, leaves us with an open-ended resolution. Sure, the crime might be solved, but maybe the villain escapes, or the hero's morals get kind of compromised along the way. Comparing these shows us that the author of Mystery 2 clearly wants us to feel unsettled, while the author of Mystery 1 wants us to feel totally satisfied. Let's do one more example. We're looking at the conflict of character versus society, specifically dealing with oppression. In one book, a historical fiction novel places this struggle in a very grounded, realistic setting, like during a real historical war. But in another book, a fantasy novel explores the literal exact same theme of oppression, except it's in a magical setting with dragons and sorcery. By comparing the two, we see how an author can actually use magic as a brilliant metaphor to teach us about very real, very human struggles. And that takes us to section 5, real life and spiritual peace, your personal resolution. So the crucial takeaway here is summarized in your homework check question. How can comparing conflicts help you understand a theme? I really want you to pause for a second here and genuinely reflect on this. You see, when you watch how a story resolves, when you see the actual consequences of a character's choices, it teaches you the author's ultimate message about life. The way a conflict ends basically tells us what the author believes is right, wrong, good, or bad. And that brings us right to our biblical morality tip of the week. So many conflicts in literature actually reflect our much deeper spiritual struggles in reality. Look at Romans 12:18. It says, "If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone." When you're analyzing the choices that characters make this week, I really want to challenge you to look at your own daily conflicts. Are you choosing resolutions that reflect God's peace, His forgiveness, and His wisdom? Because ultimately, you are the author of your own choices. Finally, Section 6. True education includes morality, the hero's smart philosophy. If there is just one truth you take away from this explainer today, let it be this: education without morality hurts. Just think about it. What is the absolute point of being incredibly smart, of knowing exactly how to analyze complex literary conflicts, if you just continue to make bad choices that hurt yourself and the people around you? Romans 8:6-7 promises peace of mind to everyone who keeps their minds spiritual. Being smart just isn't enough. Combining that intelligence with a moral, spiritual mind is what actually brings true peace. So, as you go out and face the conflicts in your own story today, I'm going to leave you with this question to ponder. What good is a brilliant mind if it isn't guided by a peaceful and moral heart?